The A's are swinging it. It was a rare 4-game sweep in Arlington versus the Rangers as the Green and Gold pounded out 41 runs and are continuing their long ball assault on the road. Tonight, they travel to hitter-friendly Coors Field and take on a Rockies team who's also fighting for a playoff spot. It's an interleague showdown. A's and Rockies next. Well, stop doing the 7th grade trip for the Athletics is Coors Field in downtown Denver. That is the home of the Colorado Rockies, and this should be a fun weekend of baseball as Sean Manaea gets the baseball in Game 1 of the series. A's Rockies coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, Matt Chapman and Nolan Arenado were high school teammates in Southern California really not that long ago, and now they're playing against each other, Ray, on a big league field. And let's start with Matt Chapman. Yeah. What did he put on a show offensively and defensively in Arlington?
And I think that's the best thing. The most important thing to watch in this video about Matt Chapman is that he's pulling the ball. Remember when he was at the Coliseum, he hit a couple of singles to right field. His hand is feeling better. He's getting his timing back, and I think you saw it last night with 2 triples, including a home run. This triple straightaway center field. Young man can play defense. He can play offense. Has speed. He's tremendous all the way around. He loves to play the game of baseball. Kuiper, I agree with you. We're going to see 2 outstanding third basemen. We have seen Matt Chapman on a daily basis. Everything he does at third base is perfect. Very strong arm, great range, and we got a chance to see it, and we see it every day.
And Nolan Arenado, well, he is a true superstar. First 5 years in the big leagues, 5 Gold Gloves. Right. He will win another one this year. He is a star. There's no question about it.
And I think Matt Chapman's going to win a few himself, but Nolan Arenado is outstanding. We do not see him as much as we do Matt Chapman. This young man here is a complete player. He uses the whole field. Anytime you can drive in runs by using the whole field, that makes you an exceptional player. And oh, by the way, he can play some defense. Great offensive player. He can play the defense. He can charge. Tremendously strong arm. That's a play right there. Normally go to first base. He just knows how to play the game defensively. To your point, the 5 Gold Gloves, he'll win it probably every year. It's kind of like Brooks Robinson winning 16. He'll just win it every year. Nobody's better.
All right, both teams playing great baseball. Both teams expecting to play postseason baseball, so that's why this weekend is going to be a lot of fun. Now stick around. Up next, we will head back to the A's pregame live studios and then back to Denver, lineups and first pitch.
California is brought to you by Toyota. Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares. No hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $5.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box.
Well, this is what the A's are doing, Ray, and it's working since they've won 6 in a row. Before the game, it's chug a Red Bull time, and this was done about 30 seconds ago. So you chug a Red Bull, let's go get them.
You know what was different about that? There were guys who aren't even in the lineup doing
Well, I got news for you. If it keeps working, there's going to be 25 guys
they'll
chugging
keep
Red
adding
Bull.
to it. You're right.
So,
by the way, where's ours?
oh, man. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. Beautiful night here in Denver. 73 degrees. A nice light breeze. Not terribly humid. And we're happy to be here. It's going to be a very, very interesting weekend of baseball. Two very good teams who are playing very well, both of them.
That was the starting pitcher jumping around.
No, he may have
So that's
got
good.
his Red Bull early. So the Colorado Rockies take the field. They would be wearing the purple tops and the white pants. The A's will wear the green tops and the road gray pants. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Oakland A's, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is. Marcus Semien will lead off at short. Matt Chapman hits second tonight. Then it's Jed Lowry at second. Chris Davis will be in left field. Piscotty will be in right. Olsen at first. Canna will be in center. Lucroy the catcher, and Sean Manaea will hit. We're in the National League Park, folks.
And another lefty. The A's saw 3 in Arlington, Texas to take their on the Rangers to start this road trip. They'll see another one tonight in Kyle Freeland, a local young man from Denver, Colorado. Second year in the big leagues, and really not really that overpowering. He'll throw a couple of different fastballs and a cutter, but a good pitcher nonetheless. And of course, anybody that can keep the ball on the ground in Coors Field, that makes him an outstanding pitcher.
Defensively behind Kyle Freeland, it's Noel Cuevas in left field, Charlie Blackmon in center, Carlos Gonzalez is in right, then it's Arenado, Story, Hampson, and Desmond on the infield. Chris Iannetta is the catcher. So lots of A's fans around Denver. I can see it today walking around, a lot of green and gold, so this would be a good trip to take if you were an A's fan. A's are not going to come to this ballpark very often. In fact, they have not been here since 2012.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at that.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
That looks
Matter of
exactly
fact,
like Ray.
Saw some people and they said, hey, where's Glenn? Where's Glenn? I said, there he is right there.
I mean,
great.
listen, we've been working together for 15 years. We're very good friends. We don't necessarily spend all of our time together on the road, but I think some people actually are surprised. Like, wait, you guys aren't together?
We're not together all the time. Yeah, I know.
So Freeland is ready. The young lefty kicks and deals the first pitch of the game, and it's a little bit inside. Umpires, that's Mark Carlson. He's the crew chief, and he's behind the plate. Bruce Streckman, Tom Woodring, and Mike Estabrook round out the umpires. Second pitch of the game is grounded right to Trevor Story. Flips it across, 1-1. Well, tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. So a couple of good young lefties tonight, Freeland and Manaea. So here's Matt Chapman. Red Bull is just settling in, so
right.
he should have some pretty good bat speed here in his first inning. Of course, one of the side stories of this weekend is Matt Chapman playing against Nolan Arenado. Two terrific third basemen, but high school teammates. Arenado is 27 years old. Chapman is 25 years old. So there's a couple years difference.
Arenado said that Matt backed him up at shortstop, but he said when I pitched, Matt played short. So that says about the arm strength of this third baseman for the Rockies. We know what Matt Chapman can do.
Up and away. So it was El Toro High School in Lake Forest, California, where they both went 2 years apart. And now a full count, 3-2. We've dug deep. There they are. Check it out. Is that awesome?
Wow, that's great.
Arenado, Chapman, El Toro High School. And that one just misses up and away, and Chapman has a 1-out walk. Chapman ended up, when his high school career came to an end, he went to college.
Right.
Arenado, when his high school career came to an end, he had a full ride to Arizona State, but he was drafted in the second round by the Rockies and decided to sign out of high school.
And the Rockies are fortunate.
Oh boy, aren't they ever.
Matt Williams, great third baseman himself, coaching third for the A's, having a conversation with Arenado. They shook hands prior to this game beginning. But Lisa and Jim, the parents of Matt Chapman, are here for the weekend. And Jim was saying that the Arenado's friends, he said he pitched against them. So, I mean, the fathers also played against each other. So it's it's quite a story growing up as they did. And they said they wanted to try to get a picture of Matt and Nolan sometime this weekend. I'm sure that's going to take place. But it is kind of a side story. But I think, to your point, partner, it's all about trying to win ball games because two teams want to play in October. This is a big series. Every series is big between now and the end of September.
Well, according to the Rockies media guy, it says that Arenado was also high school teammates with New York Yankees catcher Austin Romine. That's a pretty good team.
That's a pretty good score, absolutely.
Swing and a miss. Lowry, an 0-2 pitch, strikes out, 2 away.
Well, the one thing about the two pitchers pitching tonight, nobody's seen them. I mean, they're mentioned the last time the A's faced the Rockies here is 2012. They did come to the Coliseum. At that time, Troy Tulowitzki was playing for the Rockies. Those are the numbers. You see the fastball. He does throw a cutter, so can add a little bit of that. But he's got a nice assortment of pitches. Got a hesitation out of the windup. Of course, he cannot do that out of the stretch. I would think the scouting report by the Rockies, the A's hitters, were simply said, do not make a mistake to Chris Davis. Chris Davis is one of the best at hitting a mistake. And if you get a mistake in this park, you can hit it out in any part. Last time we were here, the purple line was not up and upper. It's up here, but in right field they've added some things, so we don't see the purple line, which designates the mile high.
A little bit outside, a very close pitch. See, all that area up there, that all used to be seating, you know, just a regular upper deck up there, but they took it down and put really kind of a cool place to hang out in, and we are told it is very popular. Called the Rooftop, and he said it's like a nightclub up there. People just go and they have a great time and they have fun and they party and they watch the game.
It's like the A's treehouse.
Exactly.
This is in right field. There's the purple line. That's the 5,280. That's 1 mile high. So if you're above that, you're high.
So 3-1 to Chris Davis. Well, there's a handful of people that are above that line. Is a strike outside corner. And now 3-2, 2 outs. So Chapman, the runner at first, will take off.
You know, one of the things too, Chris Iannetta, so you look at this 3-1 pitch, backdoor breaking pitch. Iannetta caught for the Angels, so he's somewhat familiar with the lineup of the Athletics. It's the Diamondbacks now with the Rockies.
Pitchcast brought to you by SoFi, modern Finance Company.
It's actually a good break for Chris Iannetta because Rockies offered Jonathan Lucroy a 3-year contract. They wanted him, but once he declined and there was some back and forth, they said, hey, we have to have a catcher. And so they signed Chris Iannetta. And the A's are fortunate to have Jonathan Lucroy.
Ball's tapped foul at the plate. Chris Davis, 27 homers, 78 RBIs, and of course the huge series in Arlington.
If you were talking in Texas about the distance between the dirt here and the outfield, there is a tremendous amount of space. See where the outfielders are playing. The outfielders playing deep, the infielder, so you have to play deep because the ball carries. And look at the distance between where the infielders are and the outfielders. How much space is there? Talk about Kauffman Stadium being one of the largest per square foot. I don't think it matches this though.
No.
This is huge. And you see a lot of balls drop in.
So another 3-2 pitch. Here it is, and it's rolled foul. So an 8-pitch at bat between Freeland and Chris Davis. Second in the American League in RBIs for Davis. Fourth in the American League in home runs. Tapped foul. Arenado scoops it up, flips it to a fan.
There's a lot of number 28s walking around this stadium with Arenado's jersey number.
So pitch number 10 in this at bat coming up to Davis.
3-2 to Matt Chapman before he walked him. And Desmond, actually happy he's not with the Rangers anymore.
There's a ball up the middle. Story flips to second, but it's late there. The throw to first is in the dirt, and everybody's safe.
Wow.
Story decided to flip to second. The problem was Hampson, the second baseman, was not there.
Because you'd never do that because it's 3-2. There, you know, it's where catcher, and you always wonder why does the catcher remind him to throw to first? Well, here's a reason. The guy's on the move. They're not going to get to second base. As a matter of fact, the second baseman's not going to plan to get there, figuring that if an infielder gets the ball, he's going to immediately throw to first. Of course, Story catching the ball up the middle maybe thought that he could not make the throw across the diamond, but that should have been the third out. But well, fortunately, the A's catch a break.
When you think about that, they had a chance to get the out by Story just throwing to first.
That's right.
They had a chance to get the out at second with second baseman's at the bag.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. And then they had a chance to still get the out, throw to first is in the dirt.
If Hampson takes his time.
So
you're right.
They were 0 for 3 were the Rockies. So it's going to be a
E4.
E4. That's just the 45th error of the year for the Rockies, third fewest in the National League. So it is something they do very well. But well, that's a little mix-up, and you got to. Wow. That's not the regular second baseman.
Yeah. Well, Story should go official score and say, "Give the arrow me," because his play should have been to first base, or once he knows the second baseman's not there.
And that hits Piscotty. So a walk, an error, and a hit batter. The A's have the bases loaded. They do not have a hit.
Just overthrew a little bit. I think a little frustration that he's not back in the dugout. Hard cutter, just got in the left shin. Actually, I think the Rockies caught a break, to be honest. I mean, I like to see Matt Olson come through, but if that ball would have gotten by Iannetta at second and third. There is the Rockies manager, an outstanding pitcher, Bud Black.
9 years in San Diego, now his second year here in Colorado. One of the good guys in baseball, Bud Black.
Pitcher for the Royals, good pitcher.
So here's Olson, early opportunity for the A's. And Olson takes a strike, high strike. Matt Olson at 233, he's got 21 home runs and 50 RBIs. hard slider way off the plate. Last 100 balls put in play, that's where they have gone off the bat of Matt Olson. There's a line drive right into the glove of Hampson. Side retired. So the ace threatened. Leave them loaded. Bottom of the first coming up. First inning. Here come the Colorado Rockies. Their lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Blackman, Desmond, Arenado, Story, Cuevas, Gonzalez, Hampson, Iannetta, and Freeland. That's the Rockies lineup.
That hitting Sean Manaea making the start for the Athletics. And the big thing for Sean Manaea is he looks for win number 10. Could have had it in his last start. This is his 22nd. 21 starts on the season. Sean Manaea has gone beyond 100 pitches twice. Once in his no-hitter, the other against the White Sox. So a long outing would be great for the A's Sean Manaea tonight.
So the first pitch to Charlie Blackman is outside. Well,
I say that because the A's bullpen.
Yeah, I was going to say you win 4 games in Arlington, and
as Bob Melvin said, and we have always said, he thinks about the win today and worries about tomorrow. And he got the win last night using a lot of relievers, 4 relievers from the 6th inning on.
He's a happy man. Trust us, folks. But that's one of the things. If you're winning a lot of games, you're going to be using your best relievers a lot.
That's
and
right.
The A's have more good relievers than most teams, but you're going to have to use them.
Yeah.
So tonight he may have to mix and match a little bit. Very close. Could have been a strike. 3-1. Blackman at 288. He's got 20 homers and 47 RBIs. He's a tough out. He won the National League batting title last year. All-Star this year. Charlie Blackman. Simeon shifted towards second base a little bit. 3-2 pitch, and it's a foul ball. Blackman just kind of reached for it. He was fooled, but he was able to get a piece of it.
Well, that's to your point. Exactly. Yeah, tough out. Leadoff hitter is able to do this, and just to be able to make contact to get another chance.
So another 3-2. Here it is. And it's hit foul. Left side. Nice crowd tonight. They're expecting big crowds all 3 games. Rockies averaging 37,025 per game. Not too shabby.
The amazing thing about this place, there's very little overhang to cover anybody. A little bit in the upper deck.
Pitch number 8 coming up, and it's ripped toward left center field. Nobody's going to get this one. It bangs off the wall, and Blackmon's got a double. So defensively, the A's look like this. Davis in left, Canna in center, Piscotty in right. Chapman, Simeon, Lowry, and Olsen on the infield with Lucroy doing the catching.
Bill, if you're that type of a hitter where you can foul off tough pitches and get a pitch to do that, that's an exception. You can understand why his average is what it is and has been.
So here's Ian Desmond. Desmond takes inside. Ian Desmond off to a slow start this year, but he has been heating up.
Well, the one thing about Desmond that we remember when he's with the Texas Rangers, he enjoyed right center field. Kind of lays his bat flat, horizontal to the ground. Kind of chops wood a little bit, but goes opposite field extremely well.
And that one's in the dirt. Right now, Desmond sitting on an 11-game hitting streak. Second longest in baseball behind Starling Marte of the Pirates. Desmond, 1 year in Texas, that was 2016. He had 22 homers and then became a free agent and signed with the Rockies. To the right side, Lowry scoops it up. So Ian Desmond with a productive out. And here comes Nolan Arenado.
Well, you'd have to think if you are adept at hitting the ball to the opposite field, leadoff double, perfect for you. Notice how Jonathan Lucroy is saying hello to everybody. He's teammates with all these guys last year.
That's right.
So now he gets the chance to greet them as they come to the plate. Pretty good numbers for Arenado as we're just at the end of the month of July.
You know, talk about a tough out in this ballpark. My goodness. Look at these numbers. Tied for first in home runs, tied for third in runs, third in RBIs, 9th in batting average, 6th in on-base percentage, on and on and on.
And his former teammate, as you look at those numbers, it is staggering. You think about the career he has had, and probably as intense a person as you'll ever see playing the game of baseball. And just watching him, see where Matt Chapman's playing, his teammate, everybody else even on the ground, but we've seen Matt Chapman. He said it's better range. He has the arm velocity. He's got everything to be able to allow him to play a little bit deeper.
A 2-pitch foul back. Arenado against left-handed pitchers this year is hitting .407. 407. Just .254 against right-handers. So Manaea with the infield in. He takes that one in the dirt. There are times Arenado gets so hot in this ballpark where you're okay with him hitting a single because it's not a home run.
I agree. Yeah.
And he got him swinging. That is a huge out.
Good block by Jonathan Lucroy, the previous pitch. Then it goes hard slider, back foot, and A great pitch. It also down at 82. And Arenado, Bob Melvin in your background, got to be thinking, we got this guy out with the infield playing in, facing a lefty, and now Scott Emerson out to visit with Manaea, maybe simply because of Toy Story.
Well, you got an all-star in Story.
That's right.
On deck is Noah Cuevas. Nothing against Cuevas, but he's only got 130 at bats.
Well, and that's why Scott Emerson went out. You know, as we mentioned before, sometimes you look in the dugout and you know as a catcher, but bottom line, they just point their head and say, think about who's in the on-deck circle, who's hitting, who do you want to face? And Scott Emerson decided to go to the mound and talk about it.
Story bounces one to Chapman. Chapman's got it. Throws across, and Manaea gets out of it. So, nice job by Sean Manaea. No score after one. Top of the second, no score between the A's and the Rockies. A's come in with a 61-43 record. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 8 out of 9, and they've won 27 out of their last 34. So everybody knows the numbers. On the road, they're 35-21. Listen to this one, Ray. The A's have won 15 out of their last 18 road games.
That's hard to do.
That is very hard to do. That one hooked down the left field line, and it is going to be fouled.
You know,
just fouled.
The thing, if you can play, and we always say 500 on the road, that's a little higher than that when you start thinking about the number of games the A's have won. Wait, the Coliseum.
What a run indeed. There's the 27-7 record since June 16th. 56-33 record since April 15th. And as we're talking about, the great run on the road. And they're winning series.
And winning months. You do that, you got a chance to be considerably above 500 when the season ends.
Well, they're 15-5 in July. So we can keep throwing these numbers out at you, although I think our great fans know the numbers.
Inside netted with a foul ball from Mark Canha. He's lucky to get on the backswing, got him in the face. Remember last year with the Diamondbacks, took one in the face, on the face. That's why he started wearing the protective guard. And I think a lot of other players said, I think we're going to do the same thing. That's why you see a lot of hitters wear the protection even though they've not been hit.
One hopper right to Hampson. Hampson throws out Mark Canha. Hard hit ball, but right at the Rockies' second baseman.
Well, the last two balls put in play by the A's, Olsen and now Canha, have been hit hard. Old Adam balls, and Hampson able to handle both of them.
Well, Hampson was called up from the minor leagues. DJ LeMahieu, who is a very good player. He's the regular second baseman for the Rockies. LeMahieu is on the disabled list with an oblique strain. So anytime you play the Rockies and they're missing any of their big weapons, you're happy. So no DJ LeMahieu in this series. So here is Jonathan Lucroy.
Well, as a hitter facing Freeland for the first time, you have to, out of the windup, be prepared for the hesitation when he lifts his leg right there and pauses, almost like a double clutch.
Story out into shallow left field makes the catch. 2 outs and an at bat for Sean Manaea. Those fountains are way out in, well, I guess it's pretty much center field. So Hugh hit one out there. That's a long one.
Well, it's
a little forest
as
out
the
there.
fall approaching, you put Christmas tree lights on them because it
absolutely.
looks like that's what they are.
Absolutely.
Sean Manaea said he wanted to get down 4 bunts tonight. Well, he's not going to bunt with nobody on base. Someone said home runs. They said, no, I'll take 4 bunts. That means he's going to be in the game, the full game. And of course, as we always remember, that's where it's tough starting pitcher. The one game, Sean, how about this?
You better hurry. So the first hit of the game for the A's is Sean Manaea. If you had Sean Manaea in the first hit of the game for the A's,
got to get
pool,
the baseball.
you're a winner.
Get the baseball. It's his first hit. Well, opposite field, they're chopping down on that ball. What a great job of hitting by Sean Manaea. Who wants to bunt when you can do that? Slow down, big boy. It's a base hit, but you know, to your point, you don't want Cargo to throw him out from right field. So a big hole. We'll take it.
And there's a shot, and that's going to be a base hit. Bounces in front of Cuevas. Cuevas wasn't sure what to do, and that ball was smoked by Marcus Semien, and now you got 2 on.
Well, they always get excited when a pitcher gets a hit. Here's Franco Montas, the closest to the screen. Look around. What do I do now? Just don't tax yourself because the altitude is a little bit high.
So Matt Chapman steps up. Another scoring opportunity. The A's had the bases loaded in the first. They did not score. They got 2 on 2 out here in the second. Chapman had a long at bat in the first inning, ended up walking.
This is tough on Matt Williams because if Matt Chapman does hit a base hit to the outfield and they have a chance to throw Manaea out, that's where it's difficult on a third base coach because you don't want to have him run too hard because he does have to pitch. And remember, pitchers a lot of times don't get on base. So while they'll run to stay in shape to pitch, running the bases is entirely different.
Yeah, you're worried about like 6 different things.
Exactly. I mean, lots of cycle with the Yankees. I mean, both hamstrings in one time. That's not good.
It's hard to do.
What this does, though, Camp, is that the hitters now in this game will say, if that guy, Sean Manaea, pitcher, can get a hit, he never hits, we got a little bit extra pressure ourselves. Right now, Matt Chapman experiencing something that hitters have to whenever there is a run in scoring position, a different way that they're going to be pitched.
So pitch number 40 coming up for Freeland. And here it is. And a good take, just a little bit low. Six pitches in the first inning, 14 so far here in the second. Chapman, another good swing. Rockies were off yesterday, so they had one of those wonderful home off days. Remember, the Astros were just here, and they split a 2-game series with Houston. Chapman hooks it foul down the third base line.
Well, the way the A's hitters are approaching Freeland, it seems like they have a pretty good idea on the pitches. They've hit some hard off of Freeland, and sometimes you get locked in, and as a hitter, you feel like you can hit anything. Filling in, Kite.
Yep. Chapman pops up, and that's going to be into the seats. Well, he's doing it again, working the pitcher over. Lots of foul balls.
KD with 4 after 2 strikes, and now 3 for Matt Chapman after 2 strikes, foul balls. So there's 7 extra pitches that Freeland has had to make.
Eighth pitch coming up. Tapped foul.
Ninth.
So does the high altitude bother you?
No.
Kills me.
Really?
Like, I walk around town and I don't feel good. Yeah. I'm out of breath.
You're in great shape. You look great.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously. So, I mean, that's.
Seriously, though, like, some people it doesn't bother. Other people, I get tired right away.
So you're going to fall asleep?
I'm serious. Getting sleepy, man. Chapman slowly hit. Story, bare hand throws. Got him. Chapman says, wait a minute. Chapman has terrific speed. So we'll see what the A's are going to do. Bob Melvin a step out of the dugout. He's looking back to see what he should do. Let's see if we can decide for him.
Bang, bang. Waiting for Adam Rode to make a decision.
That last replay looked.
That last one looked like it was by him.
This may be our best.
They're going to take a look at it, and it's a matter of whether the ball was in the glove. Ian Desmond will have to wait and see. You know, it's almost like a reluctant hands up to the ears by the skipper.
Well, this is where it's a tough call because if you get a call to go your way, Ray, you got the bases loaded.
If his heel is on the glove,
his heel is on.
Yeah, if his heel's on the glove, the ball's not clearly in the back of the glove.
Watch the heel.
Yeah, watch the heel.
The heel is
down. It's not back. So that's what they should be looking at in New York. And so they're showing it on their Diamond Vision more in real time. And of course, thanks to Adam Roden, he's able to slow it down, as do the Rockies. And all the Rockies are looking at the Diamond Vision. And it's a big screen.
Here it is. Here's the call, and he is out.
Yeah.
So the call stands, and the A's strand a pair in the top of the second. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Remember this, June of 2012, last time the A's were here at Coors Field. They swept the Rockies in a 3-game series, and Brandon Moss, who really had not been with the A's very long, hit 4 home runs in that series. He just kept swinging. We were like, hey, what's up with this guy? Turns out Moss was a huge part of all that success for the 3-year run.
Well, a lot of it had to do with the A's hitting coach, current hitting coach, and Darren Bush, because Bush was the manager at AAA Sacramento. And as always, they call down and say, who's hot? And
he was.
About that time, the A's swept the 3-game series, 26-15 with the 9 home runs. A's had the, wow, look at the record.
Yeah, the A's, Ray, when they came here for that series, 9 games under 500, that was the low point of that season.
That's right.
Remember, they went to Arizona and they got swept. There was a walk-off there. Manaea grabs it. Manaea's throw is not in time. Cuevas beat it out.
His cleats stuck to the ground. Sean Manaea did, and
so Noel Cuevas with the bunt hit.
Watch as Manaea goes after the ball. He starts to throw. Right there. He stumbled just enough, could not get a lot on the throw, and maybe just, I mean, he was really the only one, but there he just could not get the ball cleanly and have, I mean, we've had too many issues with the cleats sticking. We saw in San Francisco, but right there he just did not able to really take the stride as the front foot stuck in the grass.
So leadoff man aboard. Here's Carlos Gonzalez. So the A's come in here, Ray, 9 games under that time, mid-June. They sweep the series, and it started to stretch where they won 8 out of 9, and they got hot. Over Simeon's head, Cuevas round second. He's going to try for third, and he's going to make it.
Well, that's one thing about this outfield. You have to play deep, but a ball hit like that, if you're a runner first base and you don't go to third, something's wrong. So a leadoff double last inning, didn't score. Now worse, first and third. They'll play for 2. But Carlos Gonzalez with an elevated fastball shoots it to the opposite field over the head of Marcus Semien. But look how far Mark Canha has to run to get to the ball. And once Cuevas saw the ball was dropping, he immediately took off to third base. Ball coming back into second.
There's no question what you're talking about is, I think it's significantly more of an issue in this ballpark than the ball flying over the fence.
I agree. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the ball travels more here, and obviously there's more home runs hit here, but when you look, sit where we're sitting and you see how deep the outfielders are playing, and it's bunted. Olsen can't make a play, and the bases are loaded. Make that the run comes in to score, and the A's get nobody. So kind of a safety squeeze.
Olsen's play was at the plate, but he had the bare hand. The ball could not come up with it. And that's 3 pitches, 3 hits, and a run. And, you know, it's simply just really smart baseball. See where they're running from third is a safety squeeze. So Hampson really did not break on contact. He came down. So if Olsen's, look at the distance. Olsen almost could have used his glove.
Yeah, it would have been. They would have had a play.
Yeah, and caught the ball and thrown to the plate. And I don't even know if he was thinking about the plate anyway, but he could have stopped, caught the ball, and thrown to the plate and had him out easily.
So it's a sacrifice, Ray. E3 RBI. Sacrifice E3 RBI.
Listen, if you have to use your hand, that's not an error. I mean, you're penalizing too, but right now Sean Manaea has to take care of Iannetta. Ideally hit a ground ball, get a double play.
A little bit outside. So now 2-0 to Iannetta.
Iannetta has always had a good eye. So you're saying on the sacrifice, no RBI? Or
it was an RBI.
RBI, okay.
Sacrifice, yeah. E3 RBI. Freeland, the pitcher, is in the on-deck circle. There's a strike. Right on the outside corner.
You know, you could say that possibly, you know, if Manaea's on the bases, they'd run, and maybe they're thinking here that fielder's position, maybe a little bit tired, but he had plenty of time to rest because of the appeal. Took a little bit of time, so He was at third, able to rest a little bit.
Iannetta, 7 homers, 22 runs batted in. Been around a long time.
Well, Iannetta seems to be more of a fly ball hitter. A's are looking for a ground ball if they could get 2 and have Freeland come up with 2 outs.
Foul back. Iannetta likes the West. He started his career with the Rockies, then went to the Angels, and in 2016 Seattle, 2017 Arizona, 2018 right back here in Colorado.
You see the face guard. He was hit in the face last year with the Diamondbacks, not wearing anything other than an ear flap.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Well, here comes your sacrifice, a real one now from the pitcher. And this pitch inside, a little breaking ball, same one he got Arenado on last inning. So a good pitch for him. Strikeout's good. Now the A's have to think bunt. For Freeland, this is what they work on every day as National League pitchers. They work on their sacrificing, the bunting, and he knows it's an important play with pretty good hitter in the on deck circle and Blackman. So he bunts to third where he's going to try. And Manaea can field his position. Chapman's at an angle. He can. They got to.
So there's the play on where Semien hustles over to cover third.
That pitch is out of the strike zone, but if a pitcher or hitter smart, when they see that, don't even square. Because if you bunt it where you're thinking about bunting it, you're going to bunt into an out. And that's to third base with runners at first and second. A wheel play, as they call it. Shortstop covers third, second baseman. Of course, the third baseman charges, and that's where he's going to throw to Semien if the ball is bunted to him on that particular wheel play.
Bunted right out in front of home plate. Luke Croy's going to fire to third and get the out there. The ball just died about 3 or 4 feet out in front of home plate.
Yeah, Jonathan Lucroy did the best thing, get the lead runner. Boy, you talk about deadening the ball. At least you want to get it out on the grass. Matt Chapman wanted to make sure his foot was on the bag, but everybody else on the move, so not much of an opportunity for Chapman to turn a double play.
So 2 away now to the top of the order, and Charlie Blackman, a run in here for the Rockies in the bottom of the second.
Well, I think that's a given right there. If they're double steal, throw to second because Freeland's the pitcher is going to be running. But Blackman's a pretty good hitter, very good hitter, as he's shown his first at bat.
First pitch is popped foul left side. Well, Hampson is the runner at second with Freeland at first. .362 average with runners in scoring position for Charlie Blackman. He is a tough out. Blackman's league leading batting average last year was .331. Olsen on the backhand to Manaea, side retired. So a run on a couple of hits. There was an error. 1-0 Rockies after 2.
is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Top of the third, Rockies 1, Athletics nothing.
Somebody paint that picture?
That was not painted.
Beautiful.
Beautiful city of Denver with the Rocky Mountains just to the west.
Peter Cup, I think after the 4 games, the very hot weather in Arlington, Texas for Sean Manaea, I don't care about altitude, and, you know, I'd say this has to be more comfortable for him. He got to watch the 4 games, as hot as it was there. And we saw pitchers coming out of the bullpen, or starting pitchers and players in general. That's the remarkable thing for the A's to sweep the Rangers of 4 games.
Yeah, it was tough.
Considering the heat. But, again, the altitude, sure, but this is very cool weather here. I mean, this is nice.
So Lowry to lead things off. Lowry, Davis, and Piscotty. And the A's have certainly worked Kyle Freeland in the first 2 innings. They left the bases loaded in the first. They left a couple of runners on in the second.
I think one of the reasons that Skipper challenged the play at first, well, a number of reasons, keep the inning going, but Jed Lowry, one of the hottest hitters for the A's, would have brought him up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Instead, now he starts the 3rd inning. As the A's have lost their challenge, the reign of the game, at least until late.
Lowry struck out swinging in the first. Well, that catches the outside corner. And 1-2. Right there, strike 3 call, inside corner.
The fans are coming home this Monday. The boys of green and gold come back to Oakland, and it's time to welcome the hottest team in baseball. Monday, grab a $15 lower level ticket presented by Bartable by going to athletics.com/rapid. Then on Tuesday, grab tickets and park for free by going to athletics.com/free parking. Both games start at 7:05. Support the hottest team in baseball with a homecoming special. See you at the ballpark. Oh, wow. I've never seen green and gold overalls. Pretty good.
So a nice long homestand coming up. We're looking forward to that. Blue Jays, Tigers, and the Dodgers. Hey, how about next Saturday night, Ray? A week from tomorrow. We're announcing the game from the treehouse.
That's right.
That should be fun. Saturday night.
I went next door to see the Rockies TV guys. They're up in the restaurant.
That's right. Yep, good call. They're way out down the right field line.
Where you're happy to have monitors. We are fortunate to have the seats that we have here because we can see the whole field. And to your point about the space between the infield and the outfield.
So come say hi next Saturday night. Chris Davis takes outside, and it's a 1-out walk. So Rockies announcers, there they are.
Yeah, they're up there, up above. See the camera. And
Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson are their announcers. A couple of nice guys. So Drew's telling me a story that they had this great idea. I don't know, it was last year, maybe a couple years ago. They said, well, let's do a game from the rooftop, which is the area that we showed you way, way up. I mean, it's at the top of the stadium in right field. Story on the backhand, out at second on to first, but Piscotty beats the throw. So Davis is retired at second base. So they're up there, right? Great idea. Starts to rain. Starts dumping.
Where were they?
They don't. They're not covered. They're in the rooftop.
Oh, rooftop.
Way up there. They're getting ready to do the game. Starts raining.
Oh man.
So they have one of their. Jeff Hewson was actually doing the pregame show. So they set him up in the booth. So he did the first inning play-by-play until those guys came down and got settled in the booth because it was raining, and then it stopped raining, and they said, well, forget that rooftop thing. It will not rain on the treehouse next Saturday night.
No way.
We'll be having too much fun. Matt Olson lined out with the bases loaded to end the first inning.
I think you can look at this Coors Field and the way the ball carries. If you're a visiting player, and I think you made a valid point about, take base hits and ops field. If you get the ball airborne, sure, it can travel. But it's almost like Fenway Park. You go in as a visiting team, you're seeing that big wall and the short porch and say, oh man, I can hit that. They can pitch to you. So you have no chance. I mean, you try and try and try, and you end up making outs. But if you just play your game and you hit mistakes, you're going to take advantage of the way the ball does carry. But if you try, a lot of times you're going to end up breaking bats, which it's already happened a couple of times, and popping balls up or hitting ground balls.
It may sound silly. If there's ever a ballpark to not try to hit a home run, it'd be this one.
That's it. Yeah, because it's going to happen easily.
So 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. NBC Sports California and the NBC Sports app presented by your NorCal Honda dealers. 1-0 Rockies lead. It's the bottom of the third. Desmond, Arenado, and Story.
Weren't they just up?
Well, that's a good point.
It seems like those guys always come up. That's why A's are fortunate to get out Blackmon in the last inning.
There's that opposite field approach. Yeah. Desmond, he's not trying to flip the ball to right field. He tries to drive it to right field.
He was playing with the Rangers when they had that jet stream in right center, and he was so dangerous because he'd shoot balls in the gap in right center, and the ball just keep carrying and carrying. I think a lot of American League pitchers were happy to get him out of the league.
That one bounced to the right side. Easy play for Lowry, one away.
Well, Manaya, along with Lucroy, did a good job getting inside on the right-handed hitters.
Third straight start versus a National League opponent. Of course, the last two were against the Giants. And he pitched well in both the starts against San Francisco. He got a win and a no decision.
I think the altitude's affecting him. He's demonstrating some breathing patterns that a little bit unusual. It's almost like he's, you know, he's not moving. You know, he's just kind of standing out there.
Serious.
I fall asleep, but I
feel you, Sean. I was doing some weird breathing on the street today. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
And you know, I agree with you. They always talk about the splits when you play for the Rockies. Huh? Come on. I mean, if you're a hitter and you're a good hitter, you know, you're not going to get a lot of cheap ones. You're going to get hits.
Yeah, you may get a little help here, but if you can hit, you can hit. And he can hit. So 1-out single for Arenado.
Well, you don't like to see 2-strike hits, but Arenado, a very good hitter, struck out his first at bat, tried to go inside. This time with the fastball, left it out over the middle of the plate, and that's not a good sign. Lucroy might have been setting up for a waste pitch inside, but instead it ended up being middle of the plate and so hard that even Marcus Semien couldn't get a glove on it.
Ray, listen to these numbers. His last 3 years, 42 homers, 130 RBIs, 41 homers, 133 RBIs, 37 homers, 130 RBIs. His doubles, 43, 35, and 43.
And 5 Gold Gloves.
And 5 Gold Gloves. Second round pick of the Rockies in 2009. 5 straight Gold Gloves. He's won the Gold Glove every year he's played in the big leagues. This is his 6th year. He did not play quite a full year in his first year. But look at the numbers. Taps slowly. Semien scoops it. Flips to second for 1. On to first, but not in time. So Story will reach on a fielder's choice.
You know, I think it's a credit to both Arenado and Chapman, and I'm sure Bud Black says the same thing that we have heard the manager of the Athletics say, as Semien tried to turn 2, just too softly hit for anything good to happen for the Athletics. They get the lead runner, which is positive. But if your defense is so good that you're going to play regardless, that's going to help you offensively.
Sure.
Because you're going to be able to stay in the lineup. And defensively, you're looking at the 2 best probably in baseball. I mean, we're biased, of course, watching Chapman every day. You get a chance to watch Arenado and hear about him. But that's a credit to them defensively. That they could play at third because they can handle the position, which means they're going to get 4 or 5 at-bats every day.
Well, Cuevas bunted for a hit in the second inning, and he later scored in that inning, so he has scored the only run in the game.
Cuevas in a position now not to bunt. He was leading off last inning, which turned out to be a great idea. Bunting, got on base, ended up scoring a run, the only run of the game. Black probably should never have had to leave San Diego.
Yeah, why is he not there anymore?
He got fired.
0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and that is the
He
third
didn't leave on his
strikeout.
own.
I don't know. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Horrible. It's terrible.
1-0 Rockies after 3. About that.
Oh.
Dick Callahan Fan Club. Well, we're all part of that fan club.
Absolutely. Always enjoy hearing and seeing the great one, Dick Callahan.
So if Dick, you're watching,
Yeah.
fan club has come to Denver.
They wanted to show that so much they're willing not to show their face.
That's right. It's a big group, the Dick Callahan Fan Club. The list goes on and on and on.
Now, between innings, they showed there's the man. He wanted to make sure that the sign was shown, and that was shown, so now you can see his face. But Todd Hilton is in the house tonight. Showed him on Diamond Vision between innings.
He was pretty good.
Yeah. Great first baseman.
Outside to Mark Canha.
Chris Iannetta looking at his left wrist on the cheat sheet. You see outfielders, infielders take off their caps, and they have all the sheets, how they're going to play certain guys. Well, that pitch evidently was a sequence. What do you throw Mark Canha on 1-1? Let me take a look. That's the quarterback on the left wrist. It's all the information. It's very small font. Just laminate a piece of paper and put it in there.
Yeah. Hey, did you know Mark Canha was with the Rockies for like 15 minutes?
Kind of like Edwin Encarnacion with the A's for about a half hour.
He was selected by the Rockies in the Rule 5 draft on December 11th from Florida, and then traded to the A's on December 11th.
That's right.
Canha strikes out. So a Rocky for a very, very, very short time. Well, 4 strikeouts now for Kyle Freeland.
Well, Iannetta trying to think about going inside with the breaking ball, stayed out a little bit. Backdoor weather, that's a ball that's usually hit by Mark Canha.
So here's Lucroy.
Yeah, talking to some people around here, they said, you know, Jonathan Lucroy is the best. And mentioned to Lucroy, and he said quite a credit to the Bay Area fans, the A's fans, because Jonathan Lucroy said, I compare the fans of the Rockies to the fans of the A's. Very, very good fans. He wouldn't say the same thing about the team that he played for in 16 before he got traded here. But he really enjoyed his time here. But he's really enjoyed his time in Oakland. The A's are happy to have him.
Story with a nice play. Spins, throws, got him. Heck of a play by the shortstop, Trevor Story.
That smart play today brought to you by your California Ford dealers. How can you ever pinch hit for this guy? Sean Manaea with a base hit to right field. The A's first hit of the game. They did have the bases loaded in the first inning, but without a hit. Got the baseball. Now Pedrique with a big smile on his face. Now the first baseman Desmond saying, I'm going to cover up that hole a little bit. He's going to go opposite field.
Yeah, you got to pitch him careful now.
And Cap, you remember the game he pitched in Los Angeles back on April the 10th. He went just 5 innings, gave up back-to-back home runs to start the game. He came out because National League Park. And you always want to pinch hit in the event that you have to. And so Sean Manaea maybe gets a hit and can convince the skipper you don't have to worry about pinch hitting for him.
That one missed outside.
Slow down. Attaboy.
Hampson flips to first. So that's the first 3-up, 3-down inning for Kyle Freeland. Bottom of the 4th coming up. It'll be Gonzalez, Hampson, and Iannetta. most memorable moments in Oakland. Now we want the fans to pick the most memorable moment. It's a season-long promotion. Tonight, Dallas Braden's perfect game in 2010. It's 2012 AL West. The A's clinch on the last day of the season versus the Rangers. That was quite a day. Never forget that one. That was a good day. That was a really good day. So, fans vote through our A's Twitter poll.
Best part about that 3-game series against the Rangers, the A's clinched the wild card on Monday, celebrated, got ready to play Tuesday and Wednesday, celebrated again, winning the division on the final day of the season. And
so Carlos Gonzalez is going to lead things off.
One of the best ones I liked was that Grant Balfour was in the bullpen. Somebody got up with about a 7-run lead. He said, "Sit down. I'm going to finish this game." And that he did. He took the ball. Remarkable run for the Athletics as they were down by 5 games behind the Rangers with 10 to play, and won the division. Sean Manaea is keeping his pitch count down. A lot of first pitch hitting by the Rockies.
Gonzalez goes after the first pitch there, just rolls it foul. He had a base hit in the second inning. His base hit put runners at first and third. Carlos Gonzalez.
He's had a great career with the Rockies, and one thing that's been said ever since we got to the park tonight is that thing about Carlos Gonzalez.
Fair ball. Manaea's got a hustle. Got him.
Well, I said no, a little bit of a stutter step by Manaea as they're going to take a look at it. And
Carlos Gonzalez is taking his gloves off, standing at first base like he just had a line drive single to right
see
field.
the little stop, and that's why.
So this will be a quick decision.
See right there, a little stutter step by Manaea. His pace was off a little bit. Fair ball. Olsen did his job. Manaea, though, right there, almost like his feet got caught again. So you got to catch it, hit the bag with the right foot, go up the line to avoid a collision.
So Bruce Streckman made the call, and it'll be turned, and he's safe. So leadoff single for Gonzalez. Not much doubt about this one.
Watch this right here. Boom. Just he didn't follow and keep on going. If he does, Olsen led him nicely. And there's the foot on the bag before Manaea got his big foot down, and it was safe all the way. And Carlos Gonzalez doing it. Still runs well. A ball that just was fair.
So here is Garrett Hampson. And it's a strike in the inside corner. So what's our review summary? Where are we at? 181 confirmed, 285 stands, 410 overturned calls. It's important to get it right. In the dirt, 1-1 the count.
Now Lucroy had a great night last night, blocking a whole bunch. Had him 5 with runners on base and 2 runners at third base, so 7 total blocked. And already tonight, he's done an excellent job doing the same thing. Gives the pitcher a lot of confidence that he can throw the pitch down low where he wants to throw it ideally.
That's a good pitch right on the outside corner. Ionetta to follow here in the bottom of the 4th. 5 hits for the Rockies, 2 hits for the A's. Popped up. Good pitch is Hampson reaching for it. That's a beautiful thing, isn't it? You know your changeup's in a good spot when you see a hitter swing like that.
Well, a lot of times throwing a changeup with a couple of strikes really benefits the hitter. However, if it's thrown well enough, then it's a great pitch. Scott Emerson, the pitching coach, the skipper on the bench, which they put up now because of the rails that are put up.
Iannetta struck out in the second. 3 strikeouts for Manaea. That one is drilled foul. Rockies are 54-47, and they're in it. They're only 2 back in the National League West.
Well, they had the wild card game last year.
Yes, they did.
The Diamondbacks.
They had a good year last year. They were 87-75. They lost that wild card game 11-8 in Arizona. Not a huge amount of postseason time for the Rockies. This is their 26th year of existence, and they've been to the postseason 4 times, including last year.
Was it 2007 where they had that miraculous run at the end?
That's right. Yep.
They won so many games they had too much time off.
They went in 1995, which was just the 3rd year of their existence. 2007, 2009, and then last year. 1993 was when the Rockies came into existence as an expansion team with the Marlins. One-two pitch is low.
Problem for the Rockies, they came in with the Marlins, but the Marlins have won a couple World Championships. Bud Black trying to do that here. So that 25 on the sleeve is significant.
Tried to hold up, and he did. Ball popped out of the glove of Jonathan Lucroy.
I would not think that Gonzalez is going to be running, or not Gonzalez, but now Hampton, who's on. That is Gonzalez. Hampton popped up, but you'd like to see the pitcher hit when possible. That's some of the things that go on in the National League.
And he got him swinging. So 4 strikeouts. There were some trades today, so we're keeping a very close eye on that. First, we told you that Cole Hamels thing was going to go through. It did go through officially today. Cole Hamels goes to the Cubs. A right-handed pitcher, Sam Toavalawa, goes from the Cardinals to the Mariners. Eduardo Escobar goes from the Twins to the Diamondbacks, and as Asdrubal Cabrera, who was having a pretty good year for the Mets, he goes to the Phillies. So a few names we know on there. So Cole Hamels' last start with the Rangers was against the A's. It's always interesting when you see a guy, and Cole Hamels is an example where, and Cole Hamels is not the pitcher he was 4 years ago. And the Cubs know that. And he's also really struggled with the last month, and he did not look great against the Athletics. So you have to kind of judge, if you're the Cubs, how much of that is, hey, he's playing on a bad team.
Yeah, I think
trade rumors all over the place, and how much better will he be? And do you automatically become better when you go to a team like the Cubs? Possibly.
I'd say all those things factor in, and I just think that when you're on a bad team, you're going to play poorly.
Yeah.
And if you're a pitcher, you're going to swing at a pitch 10 feet out of the strike zone. I don't care if you hit or not.
All right, here come the A's in the top of the 5th, trailing 1-0.
by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Rockies 1, A's nothing, top of the 5th inning. Here's our Coors Light refreshing finish. Wednesday, Charlie Blackmon and the Rockies, well, they helped out the Athletics. Walk-off home run. And that made the Rockies a 3-2 winner over the Astros. So we all said thank you to Charlie Blackmon and the Rockies. That was Wednesday night.
I'll tell you the play that was unbelievable when I think White caught a ball in the visiting dugout, kind of fell over and then threw, and the guy scored.
Yep.
I mean, it's unbelievable what they've done.
So on June 15th, the A's were 2 games under 500, 11.5 back in the division, 11 back of the second wild card, and now look where they are. Still 6 games back of the first place Astros, but just 1 game back of the Seattle Mariners, who at this point are the second wild card team. Right now, the Texas Rangers are leading the Houston Astros 5-0 in the 6th inning in Houston. Gallardo and Keuchel, the starting pitchers in that one. So
Gallardo pitched on Sunday against the Indians and beat them to avoid a sweep.
There's a shot. Looks like it may have tipped off the glove of Arenado, and Marcus Semien with a leadoff single. So that is hit number 3. It's the AL West standings right now. Seattle 5 back, A's 6 back, and then the Angels and the Rangers. The Mariners will be at the Angels tonight. That game's going to get started pretty soon. It will be LeBlanc for Seattle. He's got a 6-1 record. And the Angels will send Andrew Heaney, who is 6-6. So
Matt Chapman hit the home run and 2 triples last night. And if he had a gapper here or in this park over this weekend, it could have been an easy triple. As fast as he can run, it might be an inside the park home run.
Well, triples alley here in this ballpark is left center field.
Well, I thought it was line to line.
That's true.
It's big, but you're right. Left center is out
rolls.
there.
The ball just rolls.
And that's where one of Chapman's went last night.
Center field is 415 feet from home plate. But that left center field gap, that may be just as far as center field.
Well, last night he had a couple. One off Bartolo Colon to left center field. There's your left center field gap here. Of course, they were playing him kind of straight ups, and then the next one towards center field against Claudio. That dive by Tochi and ended up getting his second triple. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Mark Reynolds play for the Rockies last year when Desmond was hurt? And was that last year?
I think it was last year.
Yeah,
he had a great year.
But that's what Chapman did last night. How about those names for that?
2 triples and a home run in the same game. Pyatt. The great Al Simmons.
Wow. Going back in some time there.
Yeah.
Dave Philly. I got his baseball card, Kev.
Do you?
53.
Al Simmons is from Milwaukee. He's a cheesehead. Good cheesehead. Big Packer fan. The great Al Simmons. 2-2 the count to Matt Chapman. Walk and a ground out so far tonight. Arenado charges, fair ball, and he tried to barehand it. It's really the only chance he had, and I don't even know if that would have worked.
Well, and the one thing he did also, Cap, he jumped because he knew the speed of Chapman. And this ball, I mean, with Chapman's speed, when the ball hit hard in front off the plate, watch him jump to try to get to it quicker, and he set himself up to throw. you know, from his standpoint, probably better that he didn't catch the ball, because you never know if you have a good enough grip to make the throw across the diamond, even a 5-time Gold Glover, but just took his eye off maybe right at the end.
But if you look at what he was trying to do,
exactly,
unbelievable.
Turn his body.
He was ready. If he would have caught that,
exactly,
he was ready to throw as soon as his feet hit the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So great opportunity, 2 on, nobody out. Here's Lowry, and he takes a strike. Lowry has struck out twice. I mean, look at this. This is amazing that he's even thinking about doing this.
But his body was turned to where all he had to do was throw across the diamond. He didn't square himself up to the plate, then turn. But you don't win 5 Gold Gloves by just playing routine. I mean, it's a hot corner for a reason, and he's the best there. I did tell him what I said on the air, and you said when you get to Colorado, you're going to tell him. I told him. And he said, keep talking that way.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I will. You know, but you know, he realized we get a chance to watch Matt Chapman every day. And I mean, we'll see Arenado 3 games now, and haven't seen him for 3 years, at least face to face. He's good. I like his intensity more than anything. Really, you look at Chapman and he are both the same with that regard.
As long as he's playing, he's probably going to win the Gold Glove.
Yeah.
He's already got 5.
Well, and they do it now. I mean, when Brooks Robinson won in 16, I mean, he was just the human vacuum cleaner. Well, Arenado's the same way. But now they do it analytically, but still he's going to win it that way too, because he does the things that, well, we've seen Matt Chapman do them, but I'm sure the fans who watch Arenado on a daily basis in the National League teams are always impressed with his play.
Two now to Lowry.
Freeland at the 84 pitch mark with nobody out in the 5th inning, and like you said, Kai, the A's doing what they normally do, making a pitcher work. But like a former pitcher himself, knows exactly that.
Left field, Cuevas backs up. Simeon alertly tags. He's going to hustle, and he's going to make it to 3rd. So good base running by Marcus Simeon.
You know, Cuevas too. That's a smart, because Matt Chapman had tagged himself from 1st. Had the throw gone to 3rd, he would have coasted into 2nd. But that's smart play, because you want to keep the double play in order. Good base running by Simeon, because he should know exactly that the throw is going to come into 2nd. So the A's have their opportunity to at least try to tie the game. But you know, you said it best at the beginning. If you make a mistake, you capitalize, and that's what's happened.
Absolutely.
I mean, the one run really the Rockies got, it was some plays maybe that could have been made, were not made.
First pitch to Davis in the dirt.
Throw to the wrong base this time could have aided the Athletics, but Cuevas made the right play.
Yeah, it seems like maybe kind of a small thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, getting a double play in this ballpark is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's huge in any ballpark, but you just can't. You get a chance to get 2 outs on 1 play in this place for the balls. When innings start rolling in this ballpark, they're very hard to stop. Chris Davis has reached on an error, and he has walked. A little bit inside, 2-1 to count. Rockies wanted that pitch.
Well, it's got to be down low. It looked like the back door wasn't called by the home plate umpire.
Davis swings and misses and swung at what would have been ball 4.
He smelled a rub, matted in.
Yes, he did.
2-1, backdoor breaking ball, no. That's a pitch that, nice block again by Iannetta, but a pitch that I don't think even now he'd be shocked if he gets a fastball.
Just got a piece of it, 86 miles an hour. So Freeland, off-speed pitch, and he kept it down.
You know, this is where the scouting reports come in also with Matt Chapman, good speed at first base. Ideally, you like to put a runner in motion, but Freeland's shown a pretty good move to first base. Iannetta is a good throw from behind the plate. At this point, at least in that time, he did not run.
And he just missed outside.
Well, Chris Davis was confident about it. But after swinging at a 3-1 pitch in the dirt, very patient with this backdoor breaking ball that just did not break. So good take by Chris Davis.
Well, he's had the bases loaded in the first inning, could not score. And they got another chance here, but this time there's 1 out. There's 2 outs when they were loaded in the first. So Stephen Piscotty fouls it straight back to the net. So Piscotty, who's had a terrific month of July, he's got 7 home runs this month.
His former teammate Matt Carpenter, a good month also. Cole Calhoun, new batting stance. He's had a good year, or a good month. Piscotty's got to be thinking opposite field, and they're playing him before.
Missed high.
Well, this tied the game against Kionakella. Straightaway center field. Completed the comeback, made it 10-10 after being down 10-2. We know what Chris Davis did in the 10th. Piscotty, like he did in San Diego, got him to the 10th.
Piscotty with a good take. Piscotty has 14 home runs this year. 13 of those 14 have been hit on the road. Good numbers with the bases loaded. 4 for 7 with 8 RBIs. Arenado scoops, throws, and that's a double play. He picked it right off the ground, and it turns out to be a 5-4-3 double play and a missed opportunity again for the Athletics.
Well, it kind of froze everybody because he looked like he might catch it in the air. Little short hop, little soft toss to second. Low throw handled by Hansen. And all of a sudden, 5-4-3 double play. And bases loaded, 1 out. Turns into nothing for the A's and a happy Freeland.
And now the top of the order for the Rockies here in the bottom of the 5th. Blackman, Desmond, and Arenado. Just 58 pitches for Sean Manaea, so it's been okay with the pitch count. Manaea's spot in the lineup will be 4th next inning.
It's a good hitter. You don't need to do it. It's got to leave him in there. Not that they will. The problem, if you start the sequence of pinch hitting for the pitcher, then you're going to continue, and you don't have as many position players. That's Sean Manaea with tied with Corey Kluber, fewest pitches per inning.
And now 3-1 to Blackman. Blackman a double and a ground out to first. Strike right on the inside corner. So the count is full to Blackman. And that one is line fair. Down into the right field corner. Blackman is fast. Blackman is headed for second, and he's going to stop there.
That just shows why he's a good hitter, because it's an off-speed pitch towards the inside part of the plate, and watch his front foot, plants it, and then reacts on the pitch that was inside. Actually looked like fastball inside. But regardless, turned on it, and pretty good hitting.
16th double of the year for Blackman. And here's Ian Desmond. So again, Desmond, who has hit a pair of ground balls to second base, he'll try to do it again here. Swinging and a miss. Desmond, after that, the 1 year in Texas where he had a good year, he became a free agent. And he ended up signing a big contract with the Rockies, a 5-year, $70 million deal. So this is the 2nd year of the 5-year deal. Remember when that Desmond first came up with the Washington Nationals, he was a pretty good shortstop.
Yeah.
But then with the Rangers, if I remember correctly, he played a lot of outfield.
Right.
And then when he signed with the Rockies, people were like, well, where's he going to play? And they have decided that his spot is first base. He's been now 32 years old. And that's a fair ball. Past the diving Olsen. Here comes Blackman. Blackman's going to score. And trying for second. And Desmond, who hesitated and should have just kept running. But I think Piscotty was going to throw him out either way. But it is an RBI, what will be an RBI single.
Well, there's no way he was going to have the runner at second thrown out. Did a good job advancing him. But at that point, look, even where Piscotty's playing, he's not going to throw him out at the plate. And then kind of got caught in between. See, Blackman's already almost crossing the plate by the time he rounded first base and was on his way to second. So you either run hard and go or stop and get back. And he got caught in between. Piscotty with a good throw. But
he does
another
get the
two-strike
RBI
hit.
It was indeed a 2-strike hit. And to the right side again. So 59th RBI for Desmond. Swing and a miss. Arenado has a strikeout and he has a single. Been a little bit off balance against Sean Manaea in his first 2 at-bats, and now this is his 3rd at-bat. And that one is belted. Left field. And that's way out of here. 3-0 Colorado. Guess he wasn't off balance there.
Well, you're happy in the first inning when he struck out. Then a line drive single and a big boy home run. Again, he left it out and might as well stop trying to pitch inside with fastballs because they're not getting in there. And this one left out where Arenado could extend his arms, and just the sound off his bat, you knew what the result was going to be, and it was. And just like that, A's had the bases loaded, 1 out, didn't score, and the Rockies have added 2 more here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
So home run number 26 for Nolan Arenado. Chapman has it. Chapman across the diamond to get Trevor Story for the 2nd out. So now the National League home run leader, Nolan Arenado. He just went ahead of Bryce Harper. So that's been a little bit of an issue for Manaea. 19 home runs allowed. Cuevas is 1 for 2, bunt single and a run score. Rangers leading the Astros. It's 5-1 in the 7th inning. So we'll keep an eye on how that game finishes up down in Houston.
Well, as you mentioned, Sean Manaea's at bat is due up 4th next inning. The A's had something going, probably would pinch hit if it's a 1-2-3. He could pitch the 6th inning, but more likely be taken out for a pinch hitter unless the. Of course, either way, the A's would love to have something that they're doing in the bottom or the top of the 6th inning.
Chapman charges, and that's a fair ball. Scoops his throw. Got him. Put on a show, Matt Chapman. Chapman heads right into the dugout. Says thank you very much. I got a really good arm. So it does not look like the Rockies are going to check it. And that's a heck of a play. But a couple of runs for the Rockies is we are headed to the 6th. It's now 3-0 Colorado. field. Does it have enough? No. Matt Olson is retired.
It's almost like a parachute. You see what Gonzalez did? He went back to the wall, and the ball came straight down. Good swing by Matt Olson, and had the pitch. He's been hitting a lot of high fly balls recently. Got back to where Cargo touched the fence with his left hand, realized then he could come back.
So here's Canna. Canna with a ground out and a strikeout, so he's 0 for 2 against Kyle Freeland. You see the pitch count now at 98 for Freeland. Freeland's last outing was at Arizona. He got the win. He only won 5 innings, but he only threw 77 pitches, so they may let him go a little bit longer because of that. From Denver, Colorado. Hey, how about that? Went to the University of Evansville. He was the first-round draft pick of the Rockies back in 2014, the 8th pick in the draft. So what's funny about that, Ray, is he has pitched great in his career here. Maybe Wendelken warming up. This year, his ERA at home is 2.76, and of course, this can be a tough place to pitch. So then is the theory that, well, he's from here, he knows the high altitude, maybe he knows how to pitch here. I don't know. This could be something to that.
Well, we've raved about Matt Chapman, and on the big stage with his good buddy playing third base who just hit a home run. Matt Chapman, a slow hit ball, scooped it on the move, a strong throw. They thought about challenging, did not, but this is what makes him special, that he can do this. Be able to throw and get that much on a throw from really full speed. He does not have to stop, do a crow hop, he just throws it.
It's an unbelievable play.
Yeah,
It
I
really
mean,
is.
it's just something, the arm strength, you just don't see that.
Plus, if you watch that play, he scoops the ball.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, if you're scooping the ball, you're bringing your glove and the ball up quickly to your throwing hand.
Yeah.
And that it's a split second, but it helps.
That's it.
You saw how close the play was at first. That's Pinder. He would hit for Manaea if Lucroy can get aboard. Drill to left field. Cuevas hustling over, not going to get it. So he'll play it off the wall, and Lucroy has a 2-out double.
And Pinder will hit. That's the old theory. You can see Manaea staying loose in the dugout. This ball with a breaking ball coming from the back into the middle of the plate. And you see at the top of your screen where the left fielder Cuevas is playing. So Chad Pinder will try to
200th career double for Jonathan Lucroy. So here's Pinder. Chance to get the A's on the board. And he swings and misses.
Okay, now he's loose. Now he can go. There's a special knack of pinch hitting in Chad Pinder. I mean, with his power, he gets one elevated. It could be a one-run game.
Inside.
He's been battling a hand issue whenever he stepped on Hansen's foot in Oakland. There's the line for Sean Manaea, as he will finish without a walk again. Just 74 pitches just again tonight because of a National League Park.
So now Freeland ahead 1-2. Well, this big crowd is making some noise. There's very few empty seats tonight. Freeland about to throw pitch number 109. It's in the dirt. Big section of seats out in center field high up is called the rock pile. You're a little ways away, but probably a fun seat up there. The rock pile.
Equivalent to Mount Davis.
Yeah. Pinder trying to get Lucroy home and get the A's on the board. And he got him swinging. Good pitch by Freeland. So bottom of the 6th coming up. It's the Rockies 3 and the A's nothing.
On NBC Sports California is brought to you by Cresco, your #1 choice for tool and equipment rental with 19 stores to serve you in Northern California.
That's Elitch Gardens, a wonderful amusement park here in the Denver area. Looks like a fun place to be.
Wow.
A lot going on there. Hey, when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. J.B. Wendelken takes over.
Well, he was part of the great comeback on Tuesday. And that was down 10-2. He pitched, gave up the grand slam, the home run that was hit by Elvis Andrus, the grand slam. Sean Manaea finished for the night with 5 innings. Did get a hit, but unfortunately gave up 3. Wendelken pitched well and maybe trying to do the same tonight to hold the Rockies there. The A's with a few more opportunities.
Keep it close. Gonzalez belts one towards center. Can't get it over his head. Hangs off the wall. Gonzalez is going to stop at second base. Carlos Gonzalez is 3 for 3. Oh, the former Athletic.
I'd say there's a pretty good chance you should not throw him a first pitch strike anything, because he has swung at the 4 pitches that he has seen tonight. 3 times he's gotten hits. So I'd say that he's not up there taking any pitches. And Mark Canha, a long run, and boy, it's such a tough position in the outfield. And you just have to be able to hope you can go back on a ball. It's not hit too hard and over your head. That one was.
Doesn't seem so long ago, does it? When Carlos Gonzalez got to the big leagues.
Said
It was 2008.
Was that when with his A's? With the A's, he was 12.
He doesn't look any different, but yeah, it was 2008 when he hit 242 with 4 home runs for the Athletics. Big trade in 2007.
It was the Matt Holliday trade, who lasted, what, 4 months?
Yeah, maybe less.
Didn't even make the trading deadline. Went to St. Louis, and he was the big trade. But Gonzalez,
check it out.
Was good.
Look at that. A youngster.
Yes, indeed.
Played in 85 games that year.
Always had a smile on his face, and what we're told here, he's always got a smile on his face.
Two 2-0 to Hampson. Well, it's interesting, Ray. Carlos Gonzalez got a long-term contract from the Rockies, and that long-term contract finished after last year.
Yeah.
He was a free agent really for the first time, and he was out looking, and he had some offers. But when he really wasn't getting what he had hoped for, circled back to the Colorado Rockies, and they gave him a one-year contract. He took it, and he's happy to stay right here in Colorado.
Well, what you just said was kind of the theme throughout the offseason about didn't get what I was looking for.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of players.
He fit in that category. Yeah. He's only 32 years old, so he's not an old player. But he got a one-year, $8 million deal, and he stayed in Colorado.
Well, they love him here. He plays well here, so why not come back here?
3-2 now to Garrett Hampson. Remember Hampson's bunt in the second inning. The original call was an error on Matt Olson. They changed that rate to a base hit, which I think is
should have been
probably the right call. So originally it was E3. Now it's a single. So Hampson says thank you very much. Iannetta is the on-deck hitter. Down the right field line, could be trouble, and it's foul.
Hampson just trying to hit the ball to the right side, even with a couple of strikes to advance Gonzalez, but plenty foul down the line. Like that camera angle. If the Astros had had a similar angle to left field on that Thursday afternoon, might have been a different story.
Was that foul?
That one was foul here. The one down the corner in Houston might have been foul, but they couldn't see it. Yeah, that was foul there clearly, several feet. A nice camera angle by our guys.
Another 3-2 to Hampson. Strike three call. Painted the inside corner. Hampson can't believe it.
One thing about Wendelken, he's got a good fastball, and he just showed it, painted on the inside corner, and looking away to go to the opposite field, and might have been off the plate just a little bit.
Might have been.
Yeah, just a little bit. Mark Carlson. I mean, actually, if there's ever a time to be critical, that's it. That's if it's off the plate, that's surprising because he's looking right down the barrel.
So one away. Here's Iannetta. The Angels scored 3 times in the bottom of the second to take an early 3-0 lead over the Mariners. See, I don't even act like I'm not scoreboard watching. I don't care.
But you're on your phone.
Right,
you don't even want to look at the out-of-town scoreboard here. You said, let me just look at my phone on the app.
Exact updates.
That's right.
The app. On deck hitter is Tom Murphy. So 0-2 to Iannetta, who has struck out twice. Obviously, those 2 at-bats came against Sean Manaea. Inside. Yeah, my eyes aren't getting any better. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers up there.
Yeah, those pitchers' numbers are bigger than the scores. Those numbers in white would be the winning pitcher, losing pitcher, and
it is a big out-of-town scoreboard out in right field. Line drive, and it's foul. Mike Estabrook is the third base umpire. He turned around, got a good look at it, and it was not foul by much.
Well, Arnett has been hooking a few tonight, and didn't see any white chalk, so that means it was foul. See, all Estabrook did was just turn around and look.
Yep.
And that's what really they play beyond the grass on the corner or first base if there's can't go as far. But the third base umpire, and of course during the postseason they have them down the lines, but they're always close to the first and third base umpires.
And you know what, Ray? That seems simple for an umpire. Well, you just turn around and look at. But when you turn around, you probably lose sight of the ball for a quick second. Well, then you have to find the ball. That's not easy to do.
Right.
You have to turn around, obviously. Watch Estabrook. He does the right. See, he turns around, and I mean, at some point you're gonna take your eye off the ball because you're turning around. Then you got to somehow find it.
And you're not gonna put your head up and follow the flow of the ball. You're just gonna turn around, watch for the ball to come down, and that wasn't that difficult of a play, somewhat because it wasn't that far beyond him.
And there's the walk.
Now the Summer Suite Special continues to be the easiest way to get a group of between 18 and 24 people to the ballpark for a fun and affordable night. Lock in a food and drink package with parking and a jersey giveaway, all for one low price. Learn more about the Summer Suite Special at athletics.com/summer. That's athletics.com/summer. A lot of A's fans in the house.
Big
Got a
time.
note tonight, Kat, from some fans. Mark and Brenda Ewing, who are now in Butte, Colorado. Crescent Butte. Coliseum, they were section 212, row 12, seats 7 and 8. So now
they moved?
They moved to Colorado, but still watch all the games. That's not them, but those people I mentioned are a lot happier in that group. Of course, they know the 7th inning's coming up, and they're hoping for some more magic from the Athletics.
That's right. We just look forward to the 7th and 8th and 9th inning. Here's Gerardo Parra, tough out. He's pinch hitting for the pitcher Freeland. Gerardo Parra. Not close. So that's Brian Shaw. Remember Brian Shaw? Many good years with the Cleveland Indians.
Started to pitch better after signing a free agent contract with the Rockies.
Parra with that very open stance to start the at-bat. Close it up. And misses badly. Be careful here, Ray. Bottom of the order.
Yeah, you're right.
And the lineup is about to turn over with Blackman waiting in the on-deck circle. Parra had a healthy swing on the 2-0 count.
Well, we've always credited Adam Road, the A's video coordinator, whenever he has made some outstanding calls, decisions. Well, Bud Black made an interesting comment when Parra was playing left field against the Astros. I guess Bregman hit a ball that maybe was some fan interference, and Bud simply said, give the guys a lot of credit. He said, I'm 61, I can't see as well anymore, so I need somebody to be my eyes for me.
Yeah, that was quite a call.
Yeah, but turned out to be huge. Bregman was out. Bregman wasn't happy.
Piscotty hustling over into right center field. Piscotty makes the catch. So Gonzalez will tag, go to third. So 2 outs, and now you got to get Blackman.
Well, that's a big out, too, because the A's are going to see the bullpen. As Freeland is finished for the night. I'll see a right-hander coming in. Jonathan Lucroy actually getting a better angle because the second base umpire, Tom Woodring, is standing right in the sight line of Jed Lowry at second. So he had to move a little bit, get a better angle. And all because if the runners go, he wants to let everybody know who's going to be covering or where he's going to throw.
Well, 3-0 game, Ray. With what the A's do in these late innings in this ballpark, you got to keep it close.
Yeah.
Blackman went around. Tried to hold up, couldn't do it.
Well, it looks like a big swing, and he does start. Went too far. Pitch was up, and good velocity from Wendelken, who has a good fastball.
Looks like a Blackman fan. The beard. And now it's 0-2. Little elevation on that fastball, and it's tough to catch up to when it's coming at you at 95. Blackman has 2 doubles tonight. He's 2 for 3. And he got him, so he stayed upstairs, and Wendelken gets a big strikeout, and the Rockies strand a pair. 7th inning coming up. Time for the A's to get going.
California is brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company.
Top of the 7th inning from downtown Denver. Game 1 of this 3-game series, and the Rockies leading the A's 3-0. A's trying to extend their winning streak to 7. All right, some of our terrific writers that cover the A's. Jane Lee from MLB.com, and of course Susan Slusser from the San Francisco Chronicle. They have fans here.
It's the same guy who was a fan of Dick Callahan. Dick Callahan, man. Who's next? Brian Shaw's next for the Rockies.
Yes,
Brian Shaw signed. He's with the Cleveland Indians. And we talked about Bartolo Colon last night. Fastballs. How about 93% cutters by this guy? He can't throw the ball straight.
No, he cannot. He absolutely cannot. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So Brian Shaw. Brian Shaw got off to a very tough start. Gerardo Parra stays in the game. He's in left field.
That first pitch was a cutter. Second pitch is a cutter.
But Shaw has started to straighten things out, starting to pitch better. Remember the Rockies in the offseason, Ray, they spent $106 million on their bullpen. Not kidding you. I can't make that stuff up, Ray. You know I don't do that. Wade Davis, the closer, signed a 3-year, $52 million deal. Brian Shaw signed a 3-year, $27 million deal. And they re-signed Jake McGee to a 3-year, $27 million deal. That adds up to $106 million. Hit well to center. Blackman going back near the wall, and Blackman tracks it down.
That's a 2-strike swing, and unfortunately, good job of swinging the bat by Marcus Semien, but hit it to the wrong part of the park. Cutter came right back to the middle of the plate. Elevated. Good swing by Marcus Semien, but sometimes 2 strikes you can't be as aggressive. You know, the big story in the offseason was Greg Holland looking for something. He was offered a little bit more than Wade Davis was. He turned it down.
So
they signed a 1-year deal, just got DFA'd. 1-year deal with the Cardinals and a whole bunch of money. And you talk about the contract Davis got, that was the same ones offered Greg Holland, who had 41 saves last year for the Rockies. But you know, hate to hear it, hate to say it.
You do.
But
I mean, listen, if and these guys, Greg Holland is going to finish his career at some point down the road, and he's going to have plenty of money. But how could you not look back and go,
it's $40 million.
Turn that down.
$40 million gone. And he struggled with the Cardinals. We were watching his first game when he came in, couldn't throw a strike.
0-2 to Chapman. Chapman slices one toward right field. Gonzalez hustling back. It's over his head. Gonzalez picks it up bare hand, fires it in towards second, and Chapman has a double. Nice job of hitting by Matt Chapman, especially with Shaw, who, listen, the ball, if you're a right-handed hitter, is going to be moving away from you.
Absolutely. It's going to do exactly this. They wanted to go in, have a front door cutter a la Mariano Rivera, but ball stayed away. And Matt Chapman really waits a long time. And ball clearly over the head of Gonzalez, but he has a very strong arm, a little bit offline, but good thing for Matt Chapman. He was thinking to all the way. And Gonzalez barehanded the ball and just almost in the catcher's mitt, but Chapman with that sprinter speed able to hustle into scoring position.
Left field, and that's going to get down. And it bounces. Did it go up into the seats? No, it's going to be a run as Chapman scores. Lowry to second. Hey, and here come the A's. It's 3-1. Back-to-back doubles as Lowry pokes one down the left field line.
And the beautiful thing about those 2 hits, they're both back-to-back opposite field doubles. So Chapman talking to Piscotty, and remember Piscotty faced Keona Keller. He'd never faced him before. He's due up after Chris Davis. Nice ball down, but Jed Lowry, great inside-out swing. And I think too about the altitude, partner. The ball doesn't hook or slice as much maybe in this park. Kind of stays a little bit straight, but even with the ground rule double, he's going to score it. It does stay in play, scores easily, and the A's have another runner in scoring position.
So Lowry gets his 66th RBI, and now the A's will get the tying run to the plate, and it's Chris Davis. First pitch down and away to Davis. RBIs in the American League from the 7th inning on. Lowry 30, Davis 26. No surprise.
Well, we have seen Chris Davis take a cut fastball from Brian Shaw outside and hit it out to right center. So if he elevates one, maybe we'd see the Mark Melanson type cutter that stays up and KD can go. I mean, if he just gets the ball up, and the thing about the way the A's have been hitting home runs, doubles are nice, but just keep waiting for somebody to get into one and get some elevation. By accident.
Missed that one. And the count is 1-2. There's your defense with
that is straight up.
Hampson, the second baseman. He's really trying to kind of keep Lowry close. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He went upstairs a little bit. So 1 out, or make it 2 outs here in the 7th.
Yeah, out of the strike zone, and it's going to be a double switch. See Bud Black going to the manager. So with interesting move here.
So the hitter is Piscotty.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you who's coming in a moment.
Brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So 3-1, the A's with a run in here in the top of the 7th inning and looking for more. So the new pitcher is Scott Olberg, 6-0 with a 3.10 ERA. So Bud Black just said, hey, I like the Olberg Piscotty matchup better than the Shaw Piscotty matchup.
Maybe it's the high octane fastball that he throws, because Shaw throws mostly cutters as Tony Wolters goes in with a double switch. So he will be hitting, what did you have him?
Wolters is hitting 5th. Pitcher spot is 8th. Parra hitting 9th. And here's Piscotty. First pitch, and it's a slider, a swing and a miss.
I think it's always a very good pitch if you can throw it hard, throw it out of the strike zone. New pitcher comes in. Sometimes the hitter thinks, you're going to throw me a fastball, I'm going to jump on it.
Big gap in left center field as Charlie Blackmon slid over toward right field, and now it's 0-2. Piscotty has been hit by a pitch, reached on a fielder's choice, and then with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 5th inning, he hit into a 5-4-3 double play. And he got it. So 3 straight sliders, and Piscotty strikes out. A run for the A's. So 7th inning stretch time. It's the Rockies 3 and the A's 1.
Feed the Oakland A's into your X1 voice remote and get live stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. That's a beautiful shot of Denver.
Representing with the A's flag. See, he knows it's the late innings. That's why he's excited. So Wendelken stays in the game as he'll face Desmond, Arenado, and Story. Bottom of the 7th, 3-1. Rockies with a run in the 2nd and 2 in the 5th. Desmond knocked in a run in that 5th inning. He had a base hit down the right field line. A little bit low. Rangers leading the Astros. It's 8-1 in the top of the 9th inning. So the Rangers shaking off the sweep at the hands of the A's, and their airplane left about a minute before ours last night. Yeah. Our airplanes were parked right next to each other, and
that is at Houston.
Yep.
So the Angels leading Seattle. So some good scores from the A's standpoint. A's would love to see another comeback from their standpoint.
2-2 now to Desmond.
Oh, come on. Please don't do that. Wow, that's going to get somebody hurt. They called timeout that late. Somebody's going to get hurt. Nelkin's ready to pitch. Look at this. I mean, you do not allow that to happen.
Strike 3 call. Good pitch by Wendelken.
Now Arenado got a 2-strike fastball. Actually 1-1. But center cut. And tonight he did a great job with the sliders inside, back foot. But fastballs he just could not get inside. He couldn't finish them, and as a result, left the ball out.
And that was Arenado's 100th career home run in this ballpark.
There are the Blake Street Bombers in there too. Did you see all those?
Man, those guys were awesome.
Here's the stat cast on Arenado's home run. Just 105 off the bat, 454 feet. Traveling the distance.
StatCast AI powered by AWS. Simeon grabs the line drive, 2 outs. The Blake Street Bombers. Who was it? Galarraga, Vinny Castilla, Dante Bichette,
Larry Walker.
Ellis Burks.
That's right.
Ellis Burks was a great player.
Yeah.
Burks, Bichette, Castilla, Galarraga. Larry Walker, throw him in there. That's ridiculous. Those guys.
I know.
Oh, man.
So Vinny Castilla tonight, he looks great. Great shape. Somebody said he works out every day. Maybe he can play.
Trevor Story is 0 for 3, so the A's have kept the cleanup hitter for the Rockies quiet tonight.
Well, Wendelken has been given an opportunity, and he did it in Texas, doing it again tonight, trying to shut down the offense. He did it against the Rangers and enabled the A's to come back. They're trying to come back again tonight. Wendelken doing his job. And if you have a depleted bullpen of a certain 3 or 4 guys in the back end, and I think going in, they know that. And I think this is an opportunity for some of the pitchers who may not have the opportunities with certain scores in a game. But this really helps out the total bullpen. And we saw that on Tuesday night in the big comeback.
1-2 pitches hit to center. Cana's right there. So that's a good inning for Wendelken. 3 up, 3 down, and we are headed to the 8th in Denver. 3-1 Rockies.
To Oakland and almost 30 since that memorable Fall Classic. Be part of history again when the boys in blue come north to the Bay for a 2-game series starting Tuesday, August the 7th, 7:05. Make sure you grab your tickets for this series at athletics.com/California. Athletics.com/California.
Well, here in Denver, the Rockies leading the Athletics 3-1, top of the 8th inning. So Clayton Kershaw pitched tonight. He pitched very well in the Dodgers win over Atlanta. Do not know if we will see him at the Coliseum. If we did, it would be Wednesday, but Dodgers have an off day on Monday, just obviously like the A's do. Slowly hit toward first, and Desmond steps on the bag, so Olsen is out. So Matt Olsen 0 for 4. Rich Hill pitched last night, and he's been on a roll, so we will see him.
He's supposed to pitch the Wednesday game.
Wednesday, okay,
yeah,
so we would not see Kershaw.
That's kind of the plan. We'll see if that pans out that way. But
so with 1 out, Mark Canha steps up against Scott Oberg. Oberg came in and got the big out on Piscotty in the 7th with a runner at second base. Strike inside corner, 96 miles an hour. So the Dodgers coming for 2. Toward left, and nobody's going to get it. Power grabs it. Power's got a good arm. Gets to it quickly and fires it back in. So a 1-out single for Canha.
Well, fans attending A's home games Friday through Sunday and select dates can participate in the 50-50 raffle. It's presented by Sutter Health. Tickets are sold from gates opening through the last out of the 6th inning from raffle sellers or at the kiosk at section 217. The winner will be announced in-game and receive 50% of the jackpot, with the remainder benefiting the A's Community Fund, and you get to have it announced by Dick Callahan. Oh, he's got his fan club here. He announces everything at the Coliseum. He's our hero.
Yep. Dick Callahan, former great Warriors public address announcer. He was awesome at Oracle.
Outstanding at the A's too. He's great.
We missed Dick Callahan at Oracle Arena. Oh, 2 the count to Luke Croy. Martini is the on-deck hitter.
There's our guy. Not the same guy with the same hat.
Oh, he passed it on.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
Should get some of those for our game out in the treehouse. Quick throw, and it was kind of a changeup thrown by Tony Walters, the catcher. Luke Croy doubled in the 6th. A's are 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So, Ray, they've had chances.
Yes, they have.
They've stranded 10 through the first 7 innings.
Well, surprisingly, I mean, talk about the great come-from-behind victories in Texas. The 4 games there, they had too many runners at third and less than 2 out and not get them in. Tonight, again, they've done it. As Emilio Pagan.
The Rockies have not been great. 2 for 11. But the Rockies, they got a home run from Arenado. Inside 2-2. Nice crowd tonight, 40,229. So not quite a sellout, but pretty close.
Looks impressive.
On a beautiful Friday night here in Denver. Rockies in a pennant race. In the hole, and it's going to get through. So Luke Croy finds the hole on the left side for a base hit.
Nick Martini keep doing the magic. He's got to get a chance to hit. And Jonathan Lucroy, breaking ball, slider stayed right in the middle of the plate. And then the ones to Piscotty were perfectly thrown. The slider's all outside, but that one left in the middle. And Lucroy, who does not strike out a lot himself, hates to strike out. The 2-strike approach. See what the A's can do.
Martini's had some good swings lately.
Well, and Parra's playing in left field. That's too deep because that's the direction that Martini likes to go. Of course, you have to play deep. Tonight, I've not seen many shifts of anybody Rockies. You know, it's pretty kind of straight up.
So the Rockies, one of those organizations that don't shift a lot. First pitch to Martini is a strike.
Let's go Oakland chance.
So we know what's going on in the late innings. From the 7th inning on, the A's have scored 203 runs this year. That's the most in baseball. 77 in the 8th inning, 53 in the 9th inning. Throwing what they've done in the 7th, 203. They're into it. Swing and a foul ball. Just got a piece of it. Well, we'll probably hear that chant nice and loud on Monday night when the A's return home.
That's right. Well, this is just barely, and Walters could not hang on. Actually, the ball right in the pocket of his catcher's mitt. Could not squeeze it quickly enough, and Nick Martini gets another shot and a base hit to left field.
And he had a good swing that time. He was trying to give the A's the lead. Dropped on that back leg a little bit.
Yeah. Not surprising that the Rockies have 3 catchers. Walters wanted it up. It got it up. And Martini, yeah, played in mile-high stadiums before. Well, in interleague play, you have to do some quick studying. Playing the minimum amount of times.
Nice block by Walters.
Well, Annetta did a good job with runners at third, and Walters with this one a good job as well.
Ken at second, Luke Croy at first. Bounce toward Arenado. He's going to tag the runner there, and that's the out he'll get. I may have missed him, but you're saying Canna was out of the baseline. That's the third base umpire, Mike Esterbrook, who came in. Matt Williams wants to get an explanation.
Well, the slow head ball, Arenado. I don't see him out of the baseline. Arenado went at him and tagged him, or tried to, and Canna, a good job going around him. And Bob Melvin is saying, I mean, that is not, I mean, there, little spin.
Yeah, he's not out of the baseline.
And of course, all Bob Melvin can do is ask for an umpire's challenge, but since he's lost it, he can't do it.
So it'll be a 5 unassisted play, and 2 runners still on, but now 2 outs.
That ball was hit too slowly for Arenado to try to go for 2, so he decided to get the lead runner.
So here's Marcus Semien. See if Marcus can get a big hit. He's 2 for 4. He's got a couple of singles. And there's a strike. This is a good look. Did he tag him? It looked like he got his jersey. Walters wants to come up throwing. He's a little frisky back there.
Well, he looked like he wanted to throw to second. There wasn't anybody there. Story found out about that earlier.
Marcus has been good with runners in scoring position this year. A .314 average.
And he came close in his last at bat, hitting one to straightaway center. He's got a couple of hits tonight. So if Oberg could hang one of those sliders and Marcus get out in front and take it the shorter distance.
Tapped foul at the plate. And Bud Black trying to get Oberg through the 8th inning. Of course, the closer, as we mentioned, Wade Davis. Ottavino is really their setup man, but
yeah,
could be staying away from him. Here we go. Well, Rockies thought he did.
That's watch the body of Marcus Semien, and
it's a good call. No
he
swing.
didn't swing, and you know, you just have to appeal. Let the so McGee for Chapman's and down Dexter.
So 3-2, 2 outs. The runners will take off. There they go. The pitch is high, walked him.
Well, Marcus Semien with the pitch not in but up. And
Steve Foster is the pitching
it's
coach
not
for
Bud Black, yeah.
the Rockies. So Chapman is the hitter with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Arenado said, "I've heard enough. I'm going back to my position to get ready." Yep, old teammate, Jonathan Lucroy, Arenado.
Right, LaCroix here for a very short time.
Yeah, umpire's a little slow going to turn them out. And you know, one thing I've noticed about here, they don't start the clock. That clock is non-existent. But that was a lot longer than 30 seconds that's allowed. So, Mr. Commissioner, send a note. Well, Matt Chapman, a triple would look awfully nice here to left center, just like it did last night.
First pitch is a strike. So this is the 3rd time that the A's have had the bases loaded.
First inning with 2 outs. The second time was with 1 out, double play. And this time with 2 outs again.
Chapman is 2 for 3. Strike 2 called outside corner, 97 miles an hour.
Well, Chapman does a good job of taking pitches, and that did cut off the plate just a little bit.
And that's high. 98. 28 pitches for Scott Oberg.
I always thought that Matt Chapman waits a long time. Matt Olson would love to have another opportunity, and he should have in the 9th inning, at least in the 9th, perhaps.
And Chapman checks his swing, did not go.
Pitcher's asking for the appeal. Didn't wait on the catcher, Walters. Slider, and Chapman very strong and not even close to being a swing.
Strike 3 called. So the A's leave the bases loaded again as Chapman fires his helmet and bat, and it remains 3-1. Toyota dealers. 1-9-0 for the A's, 3-10-1 for the Rockies. Sean Manaea went 5 innings. Jed Lowry has knocked in the A's only run. He did that with an RBI double. That was in the 7th inning. And the A's have had all kinds of chances. They have stranded 13 runners through the first 8 innings. So the A's will get one more shot. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Emilio Pagan comes in. So he will take over for J.B. Wendelken, who went 2 innings. Gave up a hit, no runs, couple of strikeouts. So he did what he was supposed to do. And here's Pagan. He'll face Tony Walters, who's hitting for the first time. And then Gonzalez, and then Hampson. First pitch swinging right to Olson. Olson flips to Pagan, 1 away.
Well, the bullpen's done it again. Just the offense has not come through, and it is not Wade Davis, the closer, warming up. And I guess that's why Ober was staying in as long as he did, because Ottavino, who's their setup guy usually, is the one that is warming up.
Well, Ottavino out in the bullpens, which are both bullpens out in deep right center field. You can see him there. So here's Gonzalez, 2 singles and a double. So 3 for 3 tonight for Carlos Gonzalez.
Here's the first pitch.
Right on the outside corner. Carlos Gonzalez has always had a little bit of a unique hitting style. He stands a very long ways away from the plate, kind of dives into the ball a little bit. And look how far he is away from the plate.
Don't try to pitch him in and hit the second deck.
That's right.
He's hit a few up there.
Angels still leading the Mariners. It's 3-1 in the 6th inning in Anaheim.
And you know, the Mariners and really the Astros watching the scoreboard with the Athletics, considering as hot as the A's have been. So the score to the left, that's the score in Anaheim. And take a look at the left. That's a huge score.
It just went final that game.
11-2.
The Rangers beating the Astros 11-2. One rolled up the first baseline, but it's foul.
That's the way it stands now. 5-game lead over the Mariners, 6 over the Athletics. Drop it by half game until the finals.
Kiner Falefa with 4 hits and a couple of RBIs. Beltre with 3 hits tonight. And chasing is Carlos Gonzalez. That's that pitch running off the plate.
MLB at Bat is your #1 athletics app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get A's home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Our good friend Joe Rudy, great left fielder for the world champion A's in the 70s. Watching our game tonight, he and his wife Sharon, so they're following the Athletics, as a lot of people are.
So we need to be good.
Joe can still hit. right now. I mean, just as Ricky always say, Ricky could hit, but Ricky couldn't run. So somebody could run for him. That's what happens. Get a little bit, but Joe Rudy was the best ever. Not only hitting during his playing time, playing an outstanding left field, but in those retired players games. I don't like to call them old timers games. Retired players. He was a great hitter.
Popped up, shallow left. And it's going to be Chris Davis who waits. Chris Davis grabs it. So, good inning for Pagan. Last shot for the A's coming up, trailing 3-1.
Of the game, we've talked about him at length, and we'll talk about him again. Nolan Arenado, home run number 26. A fastball that perhaps big man did not get it where he wanted it, and as a result, he is a really good player. Solo home run this year, or tonight, for his 26th of the season. Say what you want about Coors Field. He's a great player regardless of where he plays. And the A's hope that this ninth inning magic continues against a pretty good reliever.
And that would be Adam Ottavino. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So it's Ottavino's chance to get a save, not the closer Wade Davis. And the first pitch to Lowry. He's outside. Ottavino is pitching out of this Rockies bullpen for a long time. Seventh year. And now 2-0. Lowry is 1 for 4, RBI double in the 7th. So Chris Davis to follow, and then Piscotty. Swing and a miss.
And I pick Matt Olson to start in this inning, which means he's due up 4th.
Your pick to click?
Pick to click is Olson. I just think some of those towering fly balls, he's going to get into one. It's not going to be just a silo shot. It's going to be a long shot. He waits. He hopes to hit. Darren Bouchier's hitting coach also hopes he gets a chance to hit.
Right center. It's going to hang up, though, for Carlos Gonzalez, and he makes the catch. So one away here in the ninth. So Chris Davis hits for the 5th time. He's reached on an air. He's walked twice and he has struck out. So 0 for 2. But he has been on base 3 times. And Davis takes a strike. And at the knees. Adam Ottavino. 6'5", 245 pounds.
A lot of pitchers like to throw the cut fastball, and of course Brian Shaw at the top, but also Ottavino throws the cutter as well. To the cross-seam fastball, good velocity on the heater.
Crossfire guy too.
Yep.
Throws across his body quite a bit. You see that left leg when it plants. It's pointing.
Trying to think any other current players wearing number 0. I think there was one player I remember wearing 0. Not a common number.
That's Kyle Freeland, who has a chance to get his 9th win. He went 6 innings of shutout baseball tonight. Then it's Shaw, Scott Oberg, and now Ottavino. Not close. Well, the Rockies know that the Dodgers won their game. Reached for and popped up. Playable for Desmond. And that's the 2nd out here in the 9th inning.
Well, if Olsen's going to do it, Piscotty has to go on.
Yeah.
Because the A's are down to their last one. I would not venture in and talk to Matt Chapman because he took a 2-2 slider that probably a little bit upset with himself.
So here's Piscotty. He is 0 for 3. Was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss.
Well, if Walters called sliders against Piscotty with Oberg, in fact, you figure he's going to do it again. That's 4 consecutive sliders that Piscotty has seen. And I guess they've all been close enough that he swung at them.
Poke to the right side. Desmond backhands the flip, and that's the ball game. So the Athletics' 6-game winning streak comes to an end tonight here in Denver. As the Rockies win game 1 of the series, Freeland gets the win. Ottavino gets the save, and the time of game was 3 hours and 3 minutes, played in front of 40,229. So game 1 of the series goes to the Colorado Rockies. They defeat the Athletics by a final score of 3-1. Stick around. A's post-game live is coming up right after the break.